From the sunny hills of South Wales to the very windy and wet Straits of Norfolk, we are ready for round 2 of the Euro F1 Sidecar Challenge. Welcome to Snetterton.
We're in Norfolk near Thetford at the 1.95 mile Snetterton circuit on at the moment what is a dry day for round 2 of the Euro F1 Sidecar Challenge, sponsored by Eastern Airways. This circuit, first used for racing in 1951, is ready to rock and roll for round 2. But first of all, let's rewind to round 1 back in Pembrey in South Wales. And as expected, it turned out to be a battle between the Reeves and Clouser outfits and the Birchells, of course. 77, though, straight into the lead. It is Tim Reeves with his new passenger, Gregory Clouser, looking to make an impression on their first visit here to Pembrey. They got straight into the lead, and basically that was all anybody saw of them for the rest of the day. But plenty of action going on behind them, with the Birchells making up from a less than stellar start, as they snuck into second place before making a small mistake, which then put them back there in the order. Luckily, they kept the engine revving, kept things going, but at the front, that made it very easy for Tim Reeves to take his first victory of the day. Second place, it is the Schofield outfit there, but it was all about Reeves and, as we say, Gregory Clouser. Victory for them on what was a bright and sunny day at round 1. They celebrate. What a way to start their partnership leading into the World Championships, which were coming up a week after this event. Race 2, pretty much the same story again. Into the first turn, pole position, they're making the most of that. But it was Schofield and Thomas who got there first of all. And just to make things interesting, they got the whole shot this time as we head off onto the second race. But already Reeves and Clouser through. On board though with Peter and Richardson, who overshoot one of the corners there straight away, but managed to cut back in tight. But the pattern's set at the moment at the front, Reeves and Clouser, but Schofield and Thomas on a good second position. They had a very good day at the opening round, making it very hard work for current world champion the Birchells to get past them. But clear track ahead, Birchells headed off after Reeves and Clouser as the rest of the pack streamed through. But it was a perfect day at the office for Reeves and Clouser. 3 out of 3. They celebrate as they cross the line. A perfect day for them at Pembrey, round 1. Number 1, he signals Tim Reeves, of course, the former world champion himself. 75-point maximum takes them to the top of the table in front of Schofield, Thomas, the Birchells in third place, and some ground to make up. James and Morgan, Edwards and Wynne rounding out the top 5. That's the standings after round 1 as we now move ready into round 2 at Snetterton. Sidecar racing is a peculiar sport. Let's hear from Steve Day down in the paddock about some of the more technical issues involved.
Well, forgetting the battles on circuit, one of the biggest challenges here this weekend is deciding whether to go for Yokohamas or Avons. Now, we spoke to one man that knows quite a bit about both sets of tyres, and he'll be able to tell us a bit more about this big battle. Steve Webster, Avon and Yokohama are obviously the preferred choice in sidecars, but what are the differences between these two tyres?
I think the main thing was Avon have just come back into the into swing of things really with the new tyres that they're developing. But in the past, when going back sort of like 15 years, Avons were tended to be more of a tyre which lasted a lot longer and were a lot more durable, used at warm circuits and abrasive tracks. The Yokohamas were a little bit softer and tended to get more initial grip, but then would fly to bits if they got too hot. So I think what's happened now, Avon have upped the ante and made some new tyres, some new compounds, and they're now on a par with the Yokohama tyres.
Obviously, Tim Reeves is out on Yokohamas. You've got the Birchells on Avons as well as Schofield. So there really is a mix of drivers out there choosing which tyres to have.
Yeah, it's really good because you've got probably the best drivers, one on Avons and one on Yokohamas. It's a real little war going on, as well as the riding now with the tyres as well. So
here at Snetterton, obviously predominantly a right-handed circuit, do you find the gradient of the tyre wears on one side?
Yeah, the lads will know that. the good teams will know that, and when they come here they'll adjust the bike accordingly and set the tyres up a little bit different to make sure the tyres are working right way across the field as such. But sometimes they kind of get more abrasive on one side, and you just have to make do really.
Going from a twisty circuit like Pembrey to a straight circuit here at Snetterton, what about tyre pressures? Does that change?
I think the tyre pressures won't change too much on the slicks. Obviously, when they go into the wet compounds and the intermediates, they'll vary the pressures a bit to try and get some more grip, especially with the wets. Drop the pressures a little bit to make it work a little bit more and generate a little bit more heat in there as well.
And if you're a betting man, who's going to win the weekend, Avons or Yokohamas?
I don't know, a lot depends on the weather really, because of the new wet that Avon have brought out. Seems to be going quite well with Ben and Tom on their bike, so let's see what happens.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on the tyre war. But first, let's go over to Steve Day to talk through a lap of the circuit.
Well, thanks very much, Roger. Down the start-finish straight we are then at Snetterton, on board with Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas, of course, Pembrey Hotshotters. Into the first corner here is the first opportunity for overtaking. Double apex right-hander, that of course Ritchie's corner, and they will power slide on the exit. Then it's down the gears to one of the tightest right-handers. Very important though, this is Sears, to get onto the power as early as possible, because it leads you onto what is the longest straight in Great Britain, and certainly the longest straight on our calendar, the Revet Straight. Yep, flat out down here, up to 6th gear, and then you can see the Snetterton Bridge approaching down through the gears and then into the S's. This is another overtaking opportunity if you dare. Over to the left and then down another gear to the right. These are the S's, and then it's a little short stretch up here. You can see the new banking all the way around the outside for spectators. This is the bomb hole, a very, very quick right-hander, which leads you into one of the longest right-handers in Great Britain. This, of course, Coram Curve. Not really any room for overtaking around here, but it's all about setting yourself up into here. The best position for overtaking into Russell Chicane. Right and then left and then back onto the start finish straight. That is your lap of Snetterton. Roger, it's back over to you.
Thanks, Steve. 1.95 miles of fast-flowing circuit here at Snetterton. We are looking forward to a lot of track action here for round 2. But first of all, let's look at one of the more unusual outfits here, Barry James and Carl Morgan's number 3 outfit. And who better to take us through the outfit than former world champion Steve Webster.
So here we are with Barry and Carl's bike, and just to show you the difference between this bike, which is a 18-year-old chassis, and the new ones, more up-to-date ones. On Barry's bike here, we've got the front suspension, which is a trellis suspension. The monocoque stops short of the front wheel, unlike the modern one, which carries on to be more stiffer suspension. And when we come around to the back of the bike, we can see here different handles compared with the modern bikes, and also the different water system here compared with the modern bikes. They've tried to update it the best they possibly can, using obviously as much of the modern equipment as they can. But it always comes back down to the same thing. The chassis itself is quite an old chassis. I think if they were to get on a modern bike along with the opposition, we could maybe see some definitely good times from them. And when we look at the under tray, this has been built by somebody and added on. It's one that they've again done to try and update the modern bikes, the new ones. This is all carbon fibre, and they cost about £1,000 each, the new under trays. This is one that they've made themselves, or somebody's made for them, and as you can see, it's just as good a job, but obviously a lot cheaper, so the lads can do it and get it on the bike. And when we go to the front of the bike and we look at the actual steering of the mechanism, this is a bike that they only made 7 versions of this bike, and on the modern ones they don't have the link tube here, and obviously the chassis comes all the way to the front. So this is something that they've tried to update the best they possibly can with this machine. This is now as good as it's going to get for them.
Well, we've had a look at their bike, and now it's time to talk to driver and passenger. Barry James and Carl Morgan, fantastic Pembrey on the podium. Far beyond your expectations, I should imagine. Here at Snetterton, 9th on the grid before the Super Pole race day.
Yeah, yesterday in the dry didn't go well at all. We never got a clear lap, so we were struggling really. We need the Super Pole race to get back up near the front for the races on tomorrow.
Obviously, with the Super Pole situation, it does give you an opportunity to get up the front end of the grid. What are the plans for the weekend? I mean, are you looking for another podium?
Well, we're hopeful, but we are lacking a bit of power, so we've got to be realistic. If we can get top 5, we'll be happy. We'll be going home happy.
And we'll bring you into the equation, Carl. You two have only been together. This is your first full season together. But what does it like out there in Snetterton? I'd imagine for a passenger, this is one of the easier circuits.
Yeah, a bit easier. You get a bit more of a rest down obviously the 2 long straights. And there isn't a great deal amount of corners compared to Pembrey, say. So it is a bit easier for me. Depends though. Once you've got up to speed, you'll be pretty surprised.
One team who performed way above their expectations were Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Let's have a word with them.
Great qualifying. You're in second place, but apparently, Andy, you're not too happy with that.
No, I quite like Snetterton, so we were really hoping for the pole. We really wanted a dry session this morning. We just tried Avon tyres, working very well. We're going to now change to Avon wet tyres because second qualifying was wet, and see where we go from there. Ben seemed to be going very well on them, so that's our aim.
Obviously, we're here on the Sunday and the weather's sort of a bit touch and go, so it could be a situation where we have intermediates on. And how do you fancy your chances then?
I don't mind intermediates. I mean, we don't mind the damp, do we? But it's a bit of a lottery in the damp. You never know whether you're going to sort of end up on the slightly wetter bit or not. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
And Charlie, you're one of the youngest passengers in the Euro F1 Sidecar Challenge at 21 years old. How are you finding life in the sidecars?
I'm not finding it too bad, really. It seems to just gel with me with what I do.
And what do you think of your driver?
He's all right for now.
Well, thanks for talking to us, and hopefully we'll see you on the podium at the end of the weekend.
Cheers, Ed. Thanks. Bye.
So with the weather conditions looking decidedly iffy at the moment, the first track action, the Super Pole, comes to the line. Let's go over to Steve over on the grid.
So we're on the grid here for the Super Pole race for the Euro F1 sidecars, and on pole position, of course, it's Reeves and Clues, followed by Peach and Richardson. Now, let me just explain a little bit about what this Super Pole race is. Only the top 8 can be affected, so if Reeves and Clues happen to have a bit of a bad race, they finish in 9th, or they finish in 10th, or something like that, then that's where they'll have to start the race tomorrow. On the other hand, if you look a little bit further down, the Schofield, number 15, if they have a good race and manage to come up onto the podium, then they'll start from 3rd or 2nd. Also on the grid here, we've got Lovelock and Howard. The Birchalls are obviously here as well. We've got Pedman, Brian Pedder and Stedman, and of course Bygrave and Charlwood. This should be a great race. We're going to show you highlights of this, which should set us up for some cracking racing tomorrow.
So the first track action of the weekend, the first race action, is the Super Pole race. So as the riders get ready to launch away into this race on Sunday, let's just explain how Super Pole works. We've had qualification already, and the fastest riders then get allocated to the Super Pole position and their grid positions. This is a race, but the importance of the race, apart from scoring points, is to determine the grid positions going into the main race day, races 2 and 3, which will be held tomorrow. So, Steve, we're on the Snetterton circuit here. It's 1.95 miles of high-speed action, and this is a circuit, a former airfield track, of course, but it's different to what we normally come across.
It is, yeah. Of course, we were on the twisty parts of Pembrey a few weeks ago for round 1. The round after this, of course, is Alton Park, where there's not much room for rest. It's very flowing, and there you see we're on board with Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas as we head into the S's, and Roger Lovelock and Mark Howard have just gone up the inside. Now, this circuit isn't quite as simple as it looks. Other than the straights, it can get quite technical, certainly around the S's, the Bomhole, Corums and Russells.
We've heard that tyres are going to be important this weekend, but also, as you can see there, it's all about braking manoeuvres because it's a very, very fast straight. The longest straight, in fact, in the UK circuits at the moment, so speed's very, very high. But Steve, planning overtaking manoeuvres here, really, that's going to be part of the action.
Funnily enough, yeah, I spoke to Alan Schofield about overtaking manoeuvres at Snetterton as he's having a great battle here with Roger Lovelock again. Into the first corner, Ritchie's. Just at the end of the back straight there, into S's on the left-hander, and Russell's are the only 3 places he said that anyone would normally dare overtake. Of course, Tim Reeves is somewhat of an opportunist, and he may even try and make the odd overtaking manoeuvre elsewhere.
And that first corner at Rich's is going to be all important as well. But there you can see the number 1 outfit of the Birchalls there, with the Reeves and Clues as number 77 behind. But right the way through, Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas, who had a fantastic first round at Pembrey, looking to back that up here in round 2. Look at the sky though. Those clouds are very, very threatening, and we are expecting rain this weekend. A clear victory for the Birchalls, with Reeves and Clues in second, but Peach and Richardson back up their strong qualification with 3rd position. Let's hear from our winners, the Birchalls.
Winning the Super Pole race here Sunday at Snetterton, Ben and Tom Birchall. Ben started 4th on the grid. That couldn't have really gone any better, could it?
No, not at all. I won't say we had problems in first qualifying, but we're just getting dialed in. You know, we've not been here for a few years, and just trying a few different things in the first qualifying, which left us 4th, albeit only 0.4 off pole. You know, it really is close, and having to use a standard engine, it sort of evened things up again, and it's just good for the championship as well, really. I think because it's all close together and makes for good racing. But the race today, we just got our heads down and pushed hard, and the work that we did last night sort of paid off, you know, and yeah, couldn't have gone any better at all.
Well, you've seen the highlights of the first Super Pole race here from Snetterton, and I'm joined here by Steve Webster. A great first race, and the Birchalls have got their first win on the board. Yeah,
you could see that they really, really meant it here, and bike seem to be working absolutely perfectly. They've obviously got a good setup here. Tim and Gregory, they were sort of like struggling a little bit with machine. I think the speed of the machine was down a little bit, so I've just been in the tent at the moment, and they're looking at different options, what they can do for tomorrow to try and correct the problems that they feel they've got.
Peach and Richardson obviously had their first podium as well, and they're looking to nip at the heels of Reeves and Clues the next round. And then you've got this a tiny little gap where you've got Schofield and Thomas and Pedder and Stedman.
Yeah, it was nice to see Andy and Chaz there for the first 6 laps of the race. They were virtually, you know, with the 2 world champions, let's say. So it's nice to see that the racing system they've got now, it's possible to for the lads to run with the world, with world championship runners.
And obviously now the Birchalls are going to be clean favourites for tomorrow, starting on pole position.
Yeah, I think that was their the downfall at Pembrey, was the fact that they were too far down the grid really for the whole shot. So they're there now at the pointy end of the grid. They're going to be hopefully first into the corner. So it'll be interesting to see what work can be done from the Reeves camp, let's say, to try and overcome their problems of power of the machine to try and run with them. But yeah, it's looking for a good race tomorrow for sure.
Well, we've heard from the expert. It's time to see what's going to happen in the next 2 races.
Steve Webster has predicted a great race, and I'm sure that's the way it's going to pan out. The battle lines are drawn already between the Birchalls and the Reeves and Cluser pairing, but Edwards and Wynne, Mark and Jamie had a fantastic Super Pole coming up from way down the order to qualify on row 3, so they're looking for a good day. Row 6, we've got Chaplow, Evanson, Hollands and Watson right the way down to row 10, the Drown and Swift Shand and Kane pairings. All of these obviously are going to be keeping an eye on the weather as we head into races 2 and 3 here at round 2 of the championship. Right the way down to row 14 with the number 91 pairing of Larder and English there, Phil and Steve. So the battle lines are drawn as we look forward to 2 great races coming up here at Snetterton. We're heading off for a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Snetterton as we prepare for race 2 here on the round 2 of the championship. Pole position, it is Ben and Tom Birchall with that number 1 courtesy of being current world champions on the outfit. Tim Reeves, Gregory Cluser, as you would expect, very close behind in second, in front of Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas, following up their excellent performance at Pembrey at round 1. Mark Edwards, Jamie Wynne, the ones who really benefited from Super Pole there on the line in number 5. Roger Lovelock, Mark Howard, outfit number 49. You're not going to miss those in that green for sure. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson, our onboard camera crew earlier, just in front of Ben Bygrave and Ryan Charlwood. You can see the sun is shining at the moment as Brian Pedder, Rod Stedman, number 75, get ready as well. Sun is shining, but there are some threatening clouds overhead, so all of the riders keeping one eye on weather conditions and hoping that they've got the tyre choices right. The majority of riders have chosen to go on slick tyres. We'll see how that pans out as the drivers and passengers now get ready for the start of the race. And here we go straight away as they head down the long centre straight into Riches for the first turn.
Oh, and there's a big moment there. The number 11 outfit of Simon Gilbert and Joel Allen, and of course Gordon and Darryl Pottinger, number 4. And it looks like the number 4 Pottinger outfit, well, it's all over for them already.
Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas, our on-board team here, show how wide and fast this outfit is as we head down some of the fastest straights you will find in the UK here. Down the Revet straight we go.
Great to see Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas getting in front of the Birchells and Reeves and Clues. This was not part of the plan for the Birchells, and now they've got a fight on their hands, as we see there Peter Richardson, number 16, ahead of Bygrave and Charlwood.
Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas, they really are the whole shot artists. Yet again, they're out there in the front and benefiting from, of course, having the tuned engines as well. Don't forget, the rules of the series this year allow the non-Grand Prix teams to tune their engines, whereas the Grand Prix boys have to rely on standard engines just to even things up. So the race already, we've seen plenty of track action, and as we say, it's dry at the moment. The sun is shining, but those clouds are looming over the top. Oil flag in the background as well, as you can see, so more for them to contend with. Awful lot going on, and we've only had a couple of laps of this race here today. Plenty of action going on, but at the front it is still Schofield and Thomas, but you just think it's only going to be a matter of time before the big boys come looming past. But on board, here we go. Look at the absolute speed, the impression you get down here. These outfits do fly. The Suzuki engine of Schofield and Thomas here absolutely tapped out down the straights. But second place at the moment, it is the Birchells, and they are looming up in the background there. Of course, using their new Yamaha engine this year, the cross-plane crank R1 engine for the Birchells.
Mark Edwards and Jamie Wynn have made the best start they could there. They're up in the top 4 of 5, the red and white number 5 outfit, so keep an eye on them. They're just ahead of Peter Richardson, but look at this battle now for the front, Roger. It's really hotting up. Yeah, Reeves and Clues are there looking very, very fast, and they're all starting to gather at the front. Hot prospects there, Bygrave and Charlwood going through Russells. They really are tipped for a podium in a few rounds' time, and they're right on the case of the top 6 at the moment. But it is still Schofield and Thomas hanging in there. They made life very difficult at Pembrey at round 1 for the 2 big hitters, and they're doing just the same again at the moment. If Birchells and Reeves and Clues want to get past, they are going to have to fight their way through, certainly not getting everything their own way. The rest of the field having their own private battles right the way down through the order here. It is a wonderful circuit here at Snetterton, perfect for sidecar racing, and as we say, very, very high speed indeed. Yeah, there's Lada and English just going through, and the Schofield and Thomas are still leading. They made some minor adjustments to the gearing of their machine moments before this race, and they fancied themselves to get on the podium, but, well, no one expected to see them ahead of Reeves and Clues. You heard Steve Webster say earlier that Reeves and Clues were in the garage scratching their heads. They needed a bit more top-end speed, so they were working on the outfit. Well, let's see if it's going to do anything, but you can see straight away they are lacking. It is just that little bit of extra tuning that's making the difference. Standard engines on the number 77 and the number 1 outfits there. The Grand Prix riders, of course, had the first round of the World Championships as well at Le Mans. So that's already gone ahead, but look how close the action is here. There's going to be some carnage. There's going to be swapping of paintwork, I think, before the end of the day's racing here for sure. There's Lovelock and Howard just on the inside looking, and there's Roger Body, of course, as well, going through. Great racing at the front. One of the big key points here as well is that Schofield and Thomas have actually ridden in World Championships before, so as much as their outfit is a little bit more tuned, it's not dramatically more tuned than the likes of the Birchells that are just coming up side by side into the S's. Birchells, well, side by side, they're very nearly sideways as they came into that outfit there. The outfit snaking left and right under heavy, heavy braking. But look at that. In fact, the Birchells now, they've got to look over their shoulder because Reeves and Cluser are all over the back of them like a bad suit. But at the front, Schofield and Thomas are benefiting from this scrap going on behind them, and they're already stretching away at the front. Well, this would really throw the cat amongst the pigeons if they could bring this home and bring a victory against the 2 big hitters. But a long way to go in this race. But already you can see it is starting to cloud over. Will this have an effect? We'll see. Tyre choice, we've already heard, very, very important here. The big battle between Yokohamas and Avon right the way through this series. And you can see straight away we have the Avon team of the Birchells and the Yokohamas of Reeves and Cluser. Yeah, number 26 just going through. That's Gordon Shand and Kenny Edwards. But you can see up above there the clouds coming over. It's getting darker, isn't it, the circuit?
It is getting darker, and we're going to keep an eye on that, and I'm sure the riders are as well. But at the front, Schofield and Thomas head down. They are just hanging in there at the moment and keeping their lines nice and tight and using the power of that Suzuki engine to keep them at the head of the field.
It's starting to rain here, Roger. It's starting to rain. There was specks of rain on the camera there. Look at the circuit. It's getting darker. And all these guys are on slicks, remember?
It's rainy and it's windy as well. As you can see, the poor cameraman desperately trying to hang on to the camera at the moment, but things are getting very treacherous out there. It's pouring with rain at the moment. The wind is lashing the rain across as well. You can see how slick the circuit is, but there's a move coming at the front. It is the Birchells having a look down the inside of Schofield and Thomas. Did they get through? We'll see. But look at the conditions. You can see it's getting very bad visibility as well. And these riders are out on slick tyres. Don't forget that. So the grip will be going away. They will have no grip whatsoever when they come into the braking points. Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas, you can see for yourself, they slow significantly at the moment. And they will be under very, very tricky conditions as they break into the turns. They're under the Snetterton Bridge, and it's getting very close. But Schofield and Thomas still there at the moment. But what do? Do they stay out there? Do they think of changing tyres? We wait and see, because at the moment it's treacherous conditions out there. It's like racing on marbles as the top three stretch away, you can see. But everybody wondering what is going on. And the clerk of the course at the moment, it's all in his hands. He decides what happens with the race. Coming up almost three abreast at the moment. You can see Schofield and Thomas just hogging the middle of the circuit. And off the circuit already go Reeves and Kluser. They went onto the grass there, the 77 outfit onto the grass, and Birchells has snuck through. The hands up. Hands up. That means that the race has been temporarily stopped. The red flag is out. The clerk of the course has decided it's too dangerous. But let's go over to Steve down the line to find out exactly what's happening.
Well, as you can see, the race has been stopped, and for a good reason as well. The weather is absolutely disgusting out here. Wind, rain. Obviously, all the teams are out there on slicks, so we'll be looking to the restart. But it was looking quite an exciting race there, Roger.
So it's been decided this will be a two-part race, with the riders taking to the line in the positions that they finished the first part. And after a short gap, we get ready to take part in this second part of the race here, and the sun has come out again, so the riders now having to choose which tyres they're going to go to the line on. They're at the line in the positions that they finished that first part of the race, and we'll continue with a shortened race now, which will be a sprint and will be all action. Number one taken to the line there, the Birchells, but Reeves and Kluser. Number 8 lining up as well there. The outfit's ready to go. The number 8 is Phil Bell, Ashley Hawes. As we say, this is complicated now, the two-part race, starting in the order that they finished the first one, and then it is just a sprint to the line to see who's going to take victory in this race, the first race of the day. Sun shining yet again. The weather conditions all over the place today. A really exciting first part of the race. I'm sure the second one's going to be just exactly the same. We're looking for the lights to change, and the riders head off one more time to try and complete this race, and we head into the first turn. Riches, no drama this time as they all get round cleanly and head off back down to the long straight down the right-hander there at Seat corner down to the Revit straight. Here we go. Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas are on Broad Crew again, but unusually they haven't got to the front this time. And you can see down the inside there, it is the Birchells with that blazing number 1 on the outfit there under the Snetterton Bridge as they come into the S's. A lot cleaner start this time, Steve.
Yeah, well, Schofield and Thomas did get the whole shot again. It just looked like they got a bit battered and bruised coming out of Sears, and that just lost them. You can see the mark on the front of their outfit, actually, but they got a bit battered and bruised, and that's left them with really no drive down the back straight, and now they're back down in third. They must be gutted that it's come to this.
No tactics needed in this one. It is just a sprint to the line as fast as everybody can possibly go, so flat out the whole way round. And at the front, it is Reeves and Kluser at the moment. They're on their Honda-powered outfit. Don't forget, they've changed to Hondas this year. Just in front of the Birchells, Ben and Tom there.
Bell and Hawes are having an absolutely fantastic race. The number 8 outfit is well worth keeping an eye. There's Edwards and Wind, and Peach and Richardson all over the place. Bygrave and Charlwood there going through Ritchie's as well. So a little bit further behind this battle at the front. We're on board with Schofield again. It is hotting up for 4th, 5th and 6th.
Fantastic on-camera action we get as we're heading down the long straights again. You can see it really is a horsepower circuit, this one, and brakes. It's all about brakes, power, and of course, as we said earlier, all about tyres. Under the Snetterton Bridge one more time on this shortened race, don't forget. And the 2 aggregate scores from parts 1 and 2 of this race will be added together to determine the final finishing order. We'll do that later on for you, but in the meantime, the number 5 there having another great day, which is Mark Edwards, Jamie Wynn, the ones who had a fantastic super pole and got them right up the order. They really are enjoying this circuit. Sunshine blazing down on us, which is completely different to what it was a short while ago when we had wind and howling rain at the same time. But back at the front, it is the usual suspects. It is Reeves, Kluser and the Birchells there battling for a position. Schofield and Thomas hanging on 3rd, just as they did in Pembrey as well. This was the top 3 order. As the rest of the field are streaming through now, just the shortened part of this second race, as we say, then we'll add everything together for you to determine who it is. But changeable weather conditions, changeable tyres, changeable everything. This is really turning out to be a memorable race. Yet again, hard on the brakes there for the Birchells, as you saw the outfit snaking. Frenchman Gregory Kluser working very hard there on the 77 outfit. We heard that this is a relatively easy circuit for the passengers, but they do have to work hard on these turns. But look at this, the usual suspects back at the front there. Schofield and Thomas just losing contact a little bit there, but Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson are in a strong 4th position as well.
Look at Bygrave and Charlwood here. They are really, really hot on it at the moment into Russell's. This battle for 5th and 6th, Brian Pedder and Rod Stedman are somewhere there or thereabouts as well, but it does look at the moment like the Birchells have just got enough in the bag to hold off Reeves and Clues.
Birchells, who had a very, very close 2nd place in round 1 of the World Championships at Le Mans by fractions of a second, so they've started their year off well. They're at the head of the field looking for their first victory in the series so far here in the European Championships.
There you go, and you see Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. They look like they're closing in on Schofield and Thomas, and maybe Schofield and Thomas have got a few problems because they're obviously leading the first part. They'll be gutted that it's come to this and that they are in 3rd at the moment, but they're going to have to guard themselves because Peach and Richardson are all over the back of them in 4th place.
The Avon tyres for the Birchells seem to be working the better at the moment as the rest of the field are streaming through on this long circuit. As we say, just a short sprint this time, so no tactics, none whatsoever. But look at this as we head past the finish line, down the centre straight and into Rich's Curve one more time. It is still Birchells at the moment, clearly they're in front, and nothing that Reeves and Kluser can do about it.
Yeah, you see that battle for 3rd and 4th still going on. A little bit further behind, a battle for the top 10. Chaplow and Evanson having a good battle with Clark and Graham also, as the last lap flag looks like it's being prepared.
Birchells are still leading, but we look over behind them because the battle for 3rd position is still on between Anlin Schofield, Steve Thomas, Andy Peach and young Charlie Richardson. Look at this. This is going to go right down to the wire for the final podium position. Don't forget, though, the 2-part race, the aggregate scores will be added together, so it might not necessarily be the order that they cross the line now that will determine the results here of this race too. So we're on the last lap in the sunshine, and it looks as though at the moment the Birchells have enough of a gap to bring it home, but as we've seen so far, this is Sidecar racing. Anything can happen at any time with these boys, but it looks as though Reeves and Kluser have accepted 2nd place. A great victory for the Birchells. The number 1 outfit, the checkered flag comes out. Who's going to get 3rd? It is going to be the number 15. Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas continue their good run of form. So fantastic track action already we've had here. We will be adding the 2 scores together as the 2 top crews congratulate each other. When we'll add the scores together to see who is going to be the aggregate winner here of race 2 of this round 2 at Snetterton. There we have it. The Birchells were added up and they come out on top. Reeves and Kluser 2nd, Schofield, Thomas, Peach and Richardson as they finished on track in 4th place. Bell and Hawes number 8 in 5th position as we go right the way through the order there. 17th position for Roger Body on the L&W Racing outfit as the rest of the riders show down. The Sloanes in 20th position on their Suzuki. So there we have an incident-packed race there, a two-parter. Due to the weather conditions, the clerk of the course taking the decision to stop the race and restart it in the sunshine. Schofield and Thomas in third, Reeves and Kluser second, but it was victory for the Birchells. So now let's go over to Steve to talk to the victors and get the story of the race.
Ben and Tom Birchall winning the first race this morning. It's pretty treacherous out there, two-part race, very difficult conditions.
Yeah, really difficult. The rain just came from nowhere, so it made it quite slippy in places. But obviously the organiser made the right decision to stop it, and then we had the rerun. And lucky enough we won both bits really, so we come out on top.
And Tom, as a passenger out there, certainly the first part with slicks on, I presume, obviously in the rain. What was that like?
Yeah, you're in the lap of the gods really, or him more to the point. But yeah, it's an exciting race when that kind of thing happens. But on the bike, yeah, it's quite airy. But made the right choice, stopping the race, and good to carry on and get the win.
Well done for your 25 points, and good luck for the next one.
Thanks a lot.
An incident-packed race, and more to come as we look forward to race 3. We're going for a very short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to Snetterton and a rapidly drying circuit courtesy of the sunshine and a very strong gusty wind out there as well. So we're ready for the decider, the third and final race of the day, and on pole position it is current world champions, the number 1 outfits of Ben and Tom Birchall, but close behind them it is, as ever, Tim Reeves and Gregory Kluser, and the fast starting number 15 outfit of Schofield and Thomas. They really have been the revelation of the series so far.
Yeah, there we see Mark Edwards and Jamie Wynn, who have had a great weekend so far. Roger Lovelock and Mark Howard won't be pleased with their start so far. They'll be looking for a top 7 as we get ready for the start.
So the all clear is given, and we are ready for the lights to change for the start here. There they go, the lights go out, and we're away for race 3 as we head down the long straight and into the first turn there. And straight away into the lead, it is Reeves and Kluser, the 77 outfit, straight in the front. Now then, let's see what can happen. The Birchells, no doubt, will be tight behind them, exactly as they are. And our cameraman, Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas, with their signature fast start in third position. Down towards the S's now, and you can see it is really fast. The circuit is perfect condition at the moment, under the Snetterton Bridge and into the S's for the first time.
Yeah, it looks like Schofield and Thomas just struggling a bit on pace down the back straight. Maybe their gearing changes aren't going to help them out here. Look at that fantastic start for the yellow and silver outfit. Ben Holland there and his passenger Lee Watson doing great stuff. And number 3 is Barry James and Carl Morgan. We spoke to them earlier on their 18-year-old outfit. They've also got off the line well.
18-year-old outfit, well, fantastic for them. But at the front, it is the usual suspects, the big hitters there. The number 60 going through as well, having another good start, as you said, Ben Holland. The 73 distinctive outfit of Craig Chaplow and Dan Evanson going through as well, as the rest of the riders stream through the pack on what is hopefully going to be a trouble-free race this time. The weather conditions have perked up at last at the end of the weekend, but at the front, the battle is on. The Battle of Britain, this series is called. Well, we've had that for sure so far, and it is Reeves and Kluser at the front. Just as you would expect from the Birchells. But back on board with our onboard camera, Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas, round the S's they go, and you can hear the back wheel scrabbling for grip as they head now into the bomb hole round the circuit there. And look, straight away you can see the leaders are stretching away just a little bit there in the sunshine. Look at the drift in there of the 77, Reeves and Kluser. Gregory Kluser really having to work hard to try and keep the outfit driving forward. Look, there's battles right the way down through the field there. Ben Holland, Lee Watson on that distinctive number 60, having a fantastic ride just in front of 49, Roger Lovelock and Mark Howard.
It looks like Barry James and Carl Morgan there are right on the back of Lovelock, and they're absolutely flying through the pack. In fact, they're going to make the move up the inside here, and it's stuck as well. Great stuff from Barry James.
Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson having a blinder there in fourth place as well. Don't forget Charlie, one of the youngest passengers out there on the circuit at 21 years old. Under the Snetterton Bridge, one more time we come into the Essex. Oh, and there's a move down the inside of Alan Schofield. Well, that was an outbreaking move, and he was caught completely unawares there.
Yep, Peach and Richardson have got their way through. They just seem to have a little bit more grip than Schofield and Thomas at the moment. They're able to get the power down a lot better. And Schofield and Thomas's outfit just seems to be twitchy at the moment, and it's letting Peach and Richardson just get a little bit of a gap on them.
Look at the passengers. You can see how hard they're working on the lefts and the rights there, and tucked right down in the outfit. They have to make themselves as small as possible to get the maximum speed and the efficiency there. But then back out as they throw themselves over the back of the outfit. But look at the on-track action there. Alan Schofield, Steve Thomas trying to dive inside as they come out through there, and it looks as though they are back in third place.
Yeah, well, he's nicknamed the Scud, and that's the reason why. He doesn't take no for an answer, does he? Great manoeuvre there from Schofield to retake third position.
But you just get your feeling all of a sudden we will see the sight of another outfit from either side at the moment, because there is plenty of action going on. But look at it, battle at the front. Look at this. At the front, coming into the turns one more time. This one isn't over. This is going to go down to the wire. The two big hitters, the World Championship contenders, both going hammer and tongs at it. But third place at the moment, it is back in third place. It is Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson, who seem to have just a little bit more grip there than Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas. But back at the front, the Birchills have now got themselves back in the lead, just under the bridge, coming into the S's. But this is going to be tight. This one is going to go right down to the wire as they head across the line. One more lap completed, but the race is on between the two big hitters.
Yep, there you can see the outfit of Clark and Graham, and it looks like Lambert and Schofield there, yeah, number 69 going into Russell's, but as you say, at the front, Reeves and Clues aren't going to give this one up lightly, as Peach and Richardson still hold on to third ahead of Schofield and Thomas.
Well, hold on, just as you can see, because Schofield and Thomas haven't given this one up at all. Our onboard camera will show how close things are as they go around the circuit. Number 48 further down the order, Ken Napton, Tony Belsey there in front of the Lime Logistics team of Roger Body and Lee Barrett from Cobham. Number 2 going through, Carl Parkinson, Darren Tritton as well. But back at the front, this could go either way. Yamaha versus Honda, Yokohama versus Avon. It is the Birchills against Reeves and Cluser. They're both absolutely on the limit on this one. This is a matter of honour. They both want to be number one. They're both chasing the championships, both in the UK and in the World Championships. And they're both really on it at the moment. All or nothing. Here we go. This is going to go right down to the right. Look at the gap they've got, though, over third place man, who is clearly now number 16, Andy Peach, and young Charlie Richardson. They've really come up and stepped up to the plate today, and they're going to be very pleased with their day's work on their L&W machine.
Yeah, and I'll tell you someone else you can't count out. Barry James and Carl Morgan on that 18-year-old outfit are flying through the pack at the moment, and it looks to me like they're chasing Schofield and Thomas. How they've managed that, I do not know, but we have to keep our eyes peeled for the number 3 outfit.
Things very, very close at the front, though. This could go either way. Look at how they're pressing at the moment. The Birchills hanging on in front. A long, long gap there between, and as Steve said, third place is not over at the moment, because Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson are under pressure again from Alan Schofield and Steve Thomas. Back on board camera here, we can see. Now let's look to see as they go into the braking turns under that bridge, the Snetterton Bridge, into the S's. This is where the braking comes in. Wide line being taken at the moment as they come inside and looking to make up ground there. Schofield and Thomas, but have they got the grip coming out of the turn? Listen to the engine revs rise as they come out of the turn, as the back wheel slides and scrabbles for grip.
They're quicker around the first part of the section there, Roger. It's just this section here that seems to be letting them down in the race. And they're going to struggle, in my opinion, to catch up with Peach and Richardson, who really, really do go well around Coram Curve.
Out of Coram they come, and you can listen to the engine there. The Suzuki power, don't forget, on these machines. But back at the front, it is the number 1. It is the Yamaha engine of the Birchills in front of the Honda-powered outfit there in the second place man, Tim Reeves. But look how close it is. They are going to force their way through, I think, if they have to. No doubt about that. Gregory Cluser, look on the second of those outfits, really hanging off the side there. As Tom Birchill, the 23-year-old, doing exactly the same thing.
Number 74 there going through. Look like they've had a bit of a bash there. That's Bygrave and Charwood. And there's Birchall. Oh, they're coming through some back markers now. Oh, that might just be an advantage for the Birchills.
Oh, yeah, straight away you can see Reeves and Cluser were held up badly there as they came round the second part of the turn and got held up by the tail enders. And that has allowed the Birchills to get away. An extra few yards, that could be crucial. Look at that, we're in more traffic now though. This really could decide this race because these riders are having their own race. They're not aware that the fast guys are coming through, and that really could influence things. Number 16 still in third place there. He is Andy Peach, of course, and Charlie making himself as absolute small as possible. But they've got through the traffic. Clear circuit in front of them again. 1 and 2 going into this one. The championship race 2 here is going to be decided here on this last couple of turns. Ben Bygrave, the local man, with Ryan Charlwood in the Sidecar number 74 out there enjoying themselves as well. 44 going through. Roger Body, Lee Barrett still pressing ahead. But it's back at the front. We are looking for the decider there. And here they are, right on cue, under the bridge one more time. This is the hard braking point. This is where the tyres are now starting to come into play. Who's got the drive? Who's got the grip coming out of these turns to get the power down for those long straights? But look, third and fourth place, they're not that far behind. They really aren't. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson on the 16, but it's their turn to get held up in the traffic this time. Will that let Schofield and Thomas back in? But at the front, look how close it's getting now. Inside 77. They've got through. Reeves and Kluser somehow got tight inside of the Birchells there and take over the lead right as the race is counting down. This is going to get exciting. This could get very ugly in this last lap. The yellow flag out is for the last lap, and straight away the Birchells are back there, the number 1. Reeves and Kluser haven't given up though. Look at this, in amongst the traffic they're going to be very shortly. This is the last lap. It's all going to go down to it. Inside again, Reeves and Kluser. They seem to be able to get tighter on the turns. The Birchells can't do anything about it. The tyres are starting to wear now. But look at the power. Birchells are back in front one more time. In traffic we go. And down the inside, Reeves and Kluser. There's bodywork. They've touched. They're both locked together as they come through. And Birchells are over. Birchells are over. Tom gets thrown out of the outfit. That is it. The race is over. Well, Reeves and Kluser, the last turn, somehow they managed to get through that one. They went down the inside as the Birchells pushed the outfit back over, as Ben Birchall struggles to extricate himself from the outfit. Steve, run through exactly what happened there for us.
Well, it looked like as they were coming into Russell's, they had a back marker to deal with. Ben Birchall didn't really know which way he was going to go, and we've already mentioned before, Tim Reeves, give him an inch, he'll take a mile. There you go. They got the inside. Reeves and Clues there on the grass, both drivers then, full on the power, and it's just a case that the Birchells clipped onto the grass, spun their outfit, and on this occasion, it's not worked out well for them. So they must be absolutely gutted. They've had a fantastic weekend, but the win is going to go to Reeves and Clues.
So our winners there, it is Reeves and Kluser, and they're saying, what, me? Don't know what happened there, acting very innocently. Well, that was the race result declared. Reeves and Kluser take the victory. Andy Peach and Richardson go second. James and Morgan with a solid third position in front of Schofield and Thomas in fourth. Right the way down through the order, 10th place the Clark and Graham outfits. Further down we go, 15th place it is for Roger Body, the number 44 Suzuki outfit, and in 20th, Richardson 2 on the Yamaha, although 1 lap down. Fantastic, fantastic action as ever with Sidecar racing. That's why we love it. We always get drama, we always get excitement. So there on the podium we have it. Not the usual expected podium cruise, that's for sure. But now we're going to head over to Steve to chat to the boys and get their story of the race.
Third place for Barry James and Carl Morgan. An iffy weekend to begin with, but what a fantastic comeback there.
I don't know how we did it. From 10th on grid to third, buzzing is just fantastic.
Obviously, we were watching you come through, and gradually each lap you were making a position. It must have felt quite good there.
Unbelievable, really unbelievable. We sort of like just the gap was coming down in places, and it was just like, no, it can't be happening. But,
and on a 16-year-old outfit, not bad.
Yeah. Not bad for an old bus like that, but not old engines, underpowered, but we're doing all right.
Well done to you both, and hopefully we'll see you up here one day again.
Cheers very much. Thank you. Thanks. Cheers.
On the podium again, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. It's been very difficult conditions out there today. How have you found it?
This race was okay. We've had some bad starts today. The first race was two-parter. Bad start, we worked our way up and then they stopped it. Same again, bad start, 5 laps. So, no, we were happy this time. We managed to get through and stay in third place, really. So, yeah, we couldn't wish for much more.
Obviously, this is great for your championship hopes. You're making slow progress all the way through. Next round at Alton Park, maybe one better?
Hopefully we will do, because I'm not sure whether that will clash with one of the world rounds, so Timmy and Ben might not be there, so if they're not, we should be able to win that.
A great win from Tim Reeves and Greg Clues. A close battle all the way. Just explain that last lap for us.
Yeah, unbelievable. Ben and Tom's bike's got a little bit more horsepower than ours, but we had a fantastic battle. The pair of them were riding good too, and it was hard. But, you know, we came into the chicane on the last lap, and unfortunately there was a tail ender in the way. And, you know, I had planned that would be where I'd try and get by, you know. Whether I could have held him to the line would have been another matter, but unfortunately the tail ender was in the way. Ben went one side, I went the other, and I think Ben had a clip with the tail ender in it. Yeah, whatever. I mean, we were side by side, and what do? You're racing, aren't you? Do I just roll off and say there you go, or do you just keep it pinned? And yeah, we managed to come through, and I think possibly clip the grass. But yeah, I hope the pair of them are okay, and yeah, I'm over the moon that we got the win.
We've got Ben and Tom Birchall here. Commiserations, guys. You looked good for the win there, and that must be hard to take.
Yeah, pretty hard to take, really. I mean, we've had a good weekend, or was certainly known for having a really good weekend, 3 wins. But unfortunately, we came off worst again. Yeah, what more can I say about that? It's not really what I'd call a racing incident at all. But hey, we'll live to fight another day, and we'll be back at the next round more determined than ever. Yeah.
Tom, we saw you get slinged from the sidecar, and obviously it's great to see you're both okay. And what was your sort of point of view from it? Did you see anything happen at all, or did you just feel any shunt or anything?
Yeah, I just got out for the left as normal. Obviously we're in a bit hot. You know, you're into the last corner, last lap, but then a big blue flash appeared and sort of spun us around, and yeah, there it was. But never mind, like Ben says, live to fight another day. But just a big thank you to all his team this weekend. You know, they've put in a massive effort, and you know, we've got back on the pace and we've been winning races, but it's just a shame for it to end like this for us.
Well, thanks for being good sports, and hopefully we'll see you back on the podium again for the next one.
Cheers.
So there we have it, the championship positions after 2 rounds. It is a clear lead now for the Reeves and Cluser outfit. Birchall's in second, but only just from Schofield and Thomas in 3rd place. Right the way through we go the order there, but another dramatic day's racing here at round 2 at Snetterton. And controversy all the way through, which I'm sure we haven't heard the last of. But a brilliant day's racing as ever from the Sidecar boys as we look forward to the next round coming up very shortly. Richardson and 2 in 23rd position there with a single point. They'll be looking to improve on that one. Brilliant day's racing, changeable weather as ever. My thanks to Steve Day for his expert commentary there. My name's Roger Warren. Hope you'll join us again for round 3. See you then.